I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Get away from me or I'll shoot you.
And they're too good to be stopped. Beginning March 21st, Brian Bosworth and Speed's Glenn Plummer are gonna make crime pay. Through the nose. Lawless.
He's the man with the blade!
Coming March 21st to Fox.
Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to another video. There's another paid request. Technically from Dan, which I'll get to that in a minute, but for anyone who wants to request any other type of videos or topics or anything in between, random, out of the blue, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I say that because Dan said, hey, your choice. I'm like, cool. So my choice was, there's a TV pilot that I've been meaning to watch for a while called Lawless. Now, this is back in the day of Fox had this TV pilot for a Brian Bosworth TV show. For those who don't know, Brian Bosworth was a former football player, nicknamed the Boz. Things happened. He decided to get into movies. He was in Stone Cold, very, very fun action film, directed by Tragar Baxley. And he did quite a few other movies. He did one called One Man's Justice, also known as One Tough Bastard. That's a pretty decent film. Sadly, after that, he was in films that weren't really much, like Mach 2, pretty bad. One called Virus, wasn't really much to run home about. He appeared in a couple things. He was in Adam Sandler's film The Longest Yard. But yeah, Fox wanted an action TV show. And so the setup was Brian Bosworth played John Lawless, an ex-Special Forces op who became a motorcycle riding private investigator in Miami's South Beach. He was partnered up with Glenn Plummer. Glenn Plummer, you remember the film Speed? Keanu Reeves got a guy's car and then broke the guy's car door in order to get on the bus. The guy's car is Glenn Plummer. He's been in a lot of other stuff too, but that's the one I always think of. Are you insured? Yeah, why? He's the yeah, why guy. That's Glenn Plummer. He plays Brian Bosworth's sidekick. Now, this was on Saturday, 9 to 10 p.m., and it bombed. It bombed badly because they had made 6 episodes. After this one pilot, they ended it. No more. The 5 went unaired. So for those wondering, because for a long time, like, I heard about this show, oh man, I'd be curious to see it. Someone uploaded it, very thankful for that. Although when you watch it, I can see why it didn't become a show. I still would be really curious if they had aired those other 5. Apparently they didn't. So you'll never be able to see them, because how can someone tape something that was never aired? See, that's the thing. These networks should take all this stuff that is unaired and release them to the public. Because that, you want to have new content, but you don't want to make anything. Imagine all of the TV shows and the episodes that were never aired, and they could release it, and boom, plentiful amount of income, and you didn't have to do much of a thing. But what do I know? And what's funny is at the end of the episode, there's next time on Lawless, and that looked like a more fun episode than this one. So I mean, maybe it's one of those, like, it wasn't the worst thing I ever saw. It was fun to watch and out of curiosity. And I thought Brian Bosworth was good. I think Brian Bosworth carried himself fairly well. I always did. What I saw Stone Cold and One Man's Justice, Brian Bosworth I have no issues with. I thought for a football player, he carried himself off fairly well. The story they had, the way they wrote Glenn Plummer's character, maybe this wasn't the right choice to have for your pilot. It seemed like episode 2 would be more of an exciting episode than the pilot. But the pilot is to establish who these guys are. But how many TV shows had a wonky pilot, but episode 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 12, they're getting their feet more steady and it becomes a better show? So I almost want to say it's a bit unfair. I would like to have seen... I think it would be more fair if you had the other 5 episodes, and okay, here are the 6 episodes, now fairly judge if this is a good or bad show. Because again, there are many shows you like. Go back and watch the pilot. You may be surprised, like, ooh, that's the pilot? Okay, it got better. As George Carlin said in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, they do get better. So again, that's why it's a bit unfair to be mad or angry about this. On the flip side, the first scene is a gun deal. You come to find out Brian Bosworth breaks up this gun deal. It's by the docks. But Glenn Plummer comes in delivering a bucket of chicken. And yes, Glenn Plummer is black. And he is a bucket of chicken delivery boy. I'm sitting there, I'm going, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Really? Your first scene in the show is you have one of your heroes who happens to be black delivering a bucket of chicken. But of course there's smoke bombs in there. And Brian Bosworth and Glenn Plummer, I think they did okay. I could see you work stuff out, it would get better. There's still a couple fun lines of dialogue. Oh, this big blonde, ugly monster looking sucker. He's describing Brian Bosworth's character. But the smoke from a bucket, Boz comes in on his motorcycle, and the action really isn't that great in this first episode. The second episode dealt with a bomb, and someone skydiving, and there's a guy planting bombs. That seemed like a more interesting plot than this one. Again, the action is this: Boz comes in with a motorcycle, hits a couple people with his motorcycle. He throws his bike helmet. There's a bomb in the bike helmet. I guess he set this up because people try to get on a boat and there's a bomb blowing up between them and the boat. So I guess he planted that bomb before all this. Then you get the opening credits. And what's funny, the opening credits, it steals from Bad Boys. Remember that shot in Bad Boys with the Miami sign and the plane going by? That's in this. I'm like, And Bad Boys came out in 95. This was 97. I'm like, huh. That looks... And then there's like a shot of the camera going across Miami. If you don't believe me, watch the trailer to Bad Boys. I mean, that shot's in the trailer to Bad Boys when it's overlooking the city for the opening credits of this. I'm like, they stole footage from Bad Boys. And the two are trying to have chemistry. Brian Bosworth going, hey, I never said you could use me as a sex object for all these women around here. And Glenn Plummer's giving them some shit. The story is this woman wants help. Bosworth has this thing in his lair where he could take a wallet, cars, machine, get fingerprints, no more info. And this woman was in the witness protection program. And now people are getting killed. And they have to figure out what's going on. It's really not that interesting of a story, Sally. It's mainly you're just waiting for Brian Bosworth to punch someone. Because there's a point where the bad guys come and Glenn Plummer is in women's clothes, pretending to be the girl. Boz punches a few guys up. Bosworth and I believe Glenn Plummer's character is a helicopter pilot, so they get away in a chopper. They're trying to help this girl. Glenn Plummer's the funny black guy. Hey, they look at him, Boz character, Bosworth. They look at him and go, oh, I won't mess with him because he'll fry your ass. But me, I kind of sneak up on you sideways and and the girl goes, a creep? So, I mean, they're trying, but, like, the action... If you throw an episode of the A-Team, you get a bit more exciting action, or Martial Law, which lasted 2 seasons, or even an early Walker Texas Ranger episode, or... It just seems very mundane, this action, considering... And... With Brian Bosworth, they just have him punching people. They don't really have him doing a lot of other cool stuff. Like, they don't have him use a gun. I don't know if that was the point, is that he can't use guns. Like, why doesn't Brian Bosworth use a gun? Like, yeah, no, he never uses a gun in this. I don't know if that was a point, that he never uses guns. I don't even think he kicks anybody. There's a point they land on a Winnebago. There's a smoke bomb. He punches 2 guys out. Seems like a body in the Winnebago. Someone who knew the witness. Once in a while there's a decent stunt work. There's a point Bosworth is caught. And Glenn Plummer comes by in a helicopter. And Bosworth gets on. That's a decent stunt with the helicopter. And like the witness dealt with... She was a psychiatrist, and she has these tapes that the bad guys want, because there's also evidence. Pretty much Glenn Plummer gets beaten up. They take the girl. Bosworth comes in, helps Glenn Plummer. And once in a while, Bosworth has a fun line. Knows the careful placement of my fist in his face. Knocks him out every time. Like I said, there's room to work with. They steer a guy to get info. They put dynamite on him. And when he tells, Brian Bosworth clips the fuse. At the end, they arrive on a chopper. Bosworth punches a few people. Glenn Plummer shoots a bazooka to blow up the bad guy's plane. And then, it ends with them where they are at the beginning. Look at girls. Bosworth's taking off his shirt. I'm embracing my inner soul. Dealing with the girls. And next on Lawless. Like a bomb. A guy making bombs. Planting bombs everywhere. And someone skydiving. I'm like, this was a bit more exciting. I think maybe they could get more of their footing. But I mean, as you're watching it, I mean, you start with your black guy coming in with a bucket of chicken. And the chemistry is not fully there. They needed a bit more work on it, maybe a bit better writing, or they get used to each other more. I don't know if these were filmed in sequence, as in episodes. Because sometimes that's what happens, that you need a bit more time to get situated. And just the plot with this girl and witness psychiatry tapes, I didn't give much a rat's ass about. And the action, Bosworth punches a couple people, but that kind of got old quick. You really needed to, I don't know, give him a bit more arsenal, like guns or other types of weapons, or a baseball bat, or a hockey stick, something of that nature. Even the A-team had guns. Granted, they didn't shoot people, but they shot the shit out of cars and equipment and all sorts of stuff. They're like a different car crash, and it just left a lot to be desired. I mean, if you're a Brian Bosworth fan, give it a look. I had low expectations, but even I would say I was disappointed. And okay, for example, I saw Tag Team. This is a pilot that Jesse Ventura and Roddy Piper did, where they were wrestlers and then they became cops. And no, that wasn't an action-packed pilot, but the way Ventura and Roddy Piper worked with each other and how they interacted with each other and how fun and weird the concept was, that's one I'm going, man, I wish that became a show. That was a lot of team. Don't believe, like, watch out, like, Roddy Piper, Jesse Ventura, Tag Team. I wish that became a show. This, I'm like, I'd be really curious to see those 5 unaired episodes, but based on this one solo pilot, I mean, I've seen a lot worse shows go for 2, 3, 5, 7 years. I think they could have at least released the other 5 episodes. I don't think after one pilot it was that bad. I don't think it was that awful to cancel after a pilot. Just, you should have released just the other 5 episodes and then make your decision. And then make your choice. You have the 5 there anyway. You might as well, instead of showing another rerun of whatever the hell you had. It's not like you had another 50 or 15. If you have another 5, just release the other fucking 5. Maybe it'd get better. But I can't say this was a great pilot either. I can't. It wasn't that exciting. Bosworth and Glenn Plummer are trying to find their chemistry. I do think there's possible potential. Bosworth, I have no issues with the Boz himself. But give him a bit more to do. Some guns or some stuff to fight with. Some weapons. And again, there's really not much. Just hits a guy. That's pretty much it. There's really not much to a fight scene. A back and forth. There's really no choreography to it. That's another thing. Like, he punches a guy, they're done. It goes by so quick, so it's not satisfying. I have actual fight scenes. Back and forth fight scenes. There's really none. So that hurts it too. It's like, well, it's hard to even call it a fight scene. It's more, he punches someone, they go down. He punches someone, they go down. Have a fight scene. There's nothing wrong with that. So I do think there's a lot of things that the makers of that show got wrong. People go into for action, get some actual fight scenes back and forth. Idea. Work on the script a bit more. Choose a bit more of an exciting story to come out of the gate with. You think for a pilot they'd really bring in the guns in terms of pyrotechnics or action or spectacle to really be fresh out of the gate? Doesn't seem like the case with this. At least to me. Because sometimes they really go big on a pilot, then, you know, they slim down. Didn't really feel that way in this. But yeah, it didn't do well. It did so bad it went bye-bye after one episode, and there you go. So, it is what it is. with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Stay tuned for scenes from the next Lawless.
Hey, Lawless, showtime.
Next Saturday on Lawless.
You see what I see?
Yeah?
There's only a couple of guys in the world that can put this together. He's gonna do it again, and this time we'll nail him.
The bomb is planted. It's on your buddy's chopper.
Reggie!